Live, Bubba, Quasar Markets Live. This world is crazy. You've been talking about the nonsense and the chaos, and here we're right in the middle of it now. So, Bubba, so now what are you doing?
Well, now what you're watching, Mr. Big Beat, is you're looking for this market to have a little bit of a rally back into some resistance now. We've broken to the bottom side now. So we've broken out of consolidation. But as you know, if you've watched markets long enough, sometimes the breakouts are false. So we have to watch, let the selling continue here, look for a rally to sell into. And I would suggest that, the 6,900 in the S&P is possible. That'd be a place I'd looking to sell, 6,850. I think you're going to see that the selling is going to start to accelerate here. We've seen a big move in the VIX. We've seen that jumping back and forth after getting clobbered yesterday. You see some crazy action in the gold markets, but they're under pressure, but it's really still in consolidation. And of course, crude oil, which you and I talked about before, crude oil exploded just recently. I mean, it's been going up, but today up monstrous, and over the last couple of hours really took off, telling us a little bit of fear. But the big key in crude, if you look out into formation, there are two types of things they call in commodities: backwardation and contango. Crude is in massive backwardation, which means that the April part is so expensive. If you go out 6 months from now, oil is about $10 cheaper, which tells you that this is purely a fear premium being priced into the market, and that it's probably a pretty good sale.
Yeah, I'm going to put it in. And actually, for those, just so everyone understands, I actually am short oil now. I made that very clear on social media as well, that I am short oil. So Bubba and I have not talked about this. And Bubba, there it is. This is the 1 hour chart. It's already tanking on this run up. This is just a war premium to me. We have a glut of oil in the market.
We have plenty of oil, and the point is we're a net export. This is all fear being put in and placed in by traders as usual. And again, we know how this movie plays out. So look, it may go up farther. It may force me to make a decision. Right now, I'm short oil. I've been short oil, and I'm losing. And I'm going to hold short, and I'm going to probably add to it if it pops a little bit more. But overall, again, you have to understand your risk as a trader if you're going to do these things. You have to be willing to accept the risk, because you're not always going to be right. But I think that you and I are going to be right. The question is will it go too far where I'll have to make a decision to get out? But for now, I will stay short oil and look to add to that position.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. And I'm going to continue to add, because, I mean, you can see every little pop that's getting absolutely sold off. I mean, every oil supplier is loving $81 a barrel. I mean, they're like, okay, great. If it's what you're going to pay me, I'll take it all day long, because I've been holding oil at 56 and 60, right? That's what these major corporations are saying. Okay, well, I'm Shell, and I've been sitting at $60 of oil, and I got all this oil. Okay, great. I'll just dump it on you. And that's what I see happening too. I agree with that, Bubba. Is there anything else you see? Oh, look at that. We're already seeing selling. Maybe we're talking the market down here for you. Wow, look at the selling now. 71 now a barrel now. Just dropping.
I think, again, you look at the formation, you look at what's going on, and I think that suggests to you and tells you that there is issue in here, and that we're going to see lower oil prices. Look, we've seen these moves before. You go back and look at gold when it was going crazy to the upside, and you had a 500-point down day.
Boom.
These are wild markets.
That drop. Look at this drop, Bubba, as we talk about it. That's why I like Quasar Markets, because I get the smartest guys in the room here. And, I think that's part of it, right? Is that, Bubba, is that tweet analysis has been too crazy right now. So what are you thinking, Bubba, with this administration? Are you thinking that maybe we get away from some of this nonsense, chaotic talk? I just saw where President Trump just replaced Kristi Noem at Department of Homeland Security with Senator Mullins. So maybe we're getting back to some normality here.
We might get some normality, but listen, with President Trump, it's hard to have much normality, right? I mean, he is a wild card, right? I mean, he does a lot of things, sometimes with purpose, sometimes without purpose. But he does a lot of things that do create a lot of chaos. And of course, if we remember from his first administration, we used to follow the Twitter machine because a lot of tweets would drive markets crazy. But look, I think what you're seeing is normal market activity. I think we're finally seeing some real activity. Maybe if it's overextended, maybe the prices are moving a little bit too fast. But this is how markets are supposed to trade. You're supposed to see not markets that go sideways with no volume and no participation for weeks and months at a time.
Yeah, I agree. And I think you just mentioned the S&P. Are there any stocks you're looking at too as well?
Oh, I mean, stocks. I'm not looking at stocks from a day trading standpoint. I buy stocks and look to hedge them. Okay.
Yeah.
But I certainly think that NVIDIA is probably going to be under some pressure coming in here. I certainly think that, Amazon probably might have already made a bottom. Amazon was down 30% from the top. It might have already made a bottom. Okay. Again, I'm not saying it did, but certainly I was a buyer of Amazon at 200, and I'm not in any hurry to trade it out. Right. I think you have to remember that these markets have been very wacky and under some very good pressure, even though they haven't broken down in the indexes for the last couple of weeks. And I think, if we go back to 08, in November of 08, Amazon was trading at $30. By the time the market actually bottomed in March of 09, Amazon was already back to 60. So I think Palantir's weak. I think a lot of the high tech is going to be under some pretty heavy pressure because I think the valuations are way too over high. And when you lose the participation and the selling starts, those are the ones that are going to come after. They've already come after the cheaper ones, the lesser expensive ones, the ones that don't make as much money. Then they come for the next group, and I think that's right around the corner.
Yeah, and when we talk about that, but let me ask you a question about that. So with oil, and as you just mentioned, what about FedEx? I mean, FedEx gets slaughtered here because it's going to cost them more money on gasoline price. Right? We've seen gasoline jumping 7% here. Look, politically, Republicans don't look good coming in the midterms here, and they didn't look good in the last election. Do you think the president will step in and say, okay, look, gas prices, inflation going up, all those things? Do you think he'll step in and do something here?
Well, based on what he said recently, everything is great. So I don't see him necessarily stepping in. I think you have to recognize that FedEx, we can blame gasoline prices on a problem with FedEx. But what we're ignoring, and the fact that we're ignoring, is that business is not very good. The economy is not very good. When we had low oil prices, FedEx was struggling. So I think we as people always look for something to blame for the problem. But the real problem is that in a K-shaped economy, when 90% of the population is struggling, it doesn't really matter. So I don't think that, other than the emotion factor of people panicking, maybe selling FedEx because of the high oil prices, they were already in trouble beforehand. And they were already seeing slower business before oil. And I don't think that changes. The buying habits of people have changed, which makes less deliveries.
Yeah, of course. All right, Bubba, any last thoughts before I let you go?
I think just be careful, but I'm saying to everybody, I think that you should look for the opportunity to sell rallies, but that doesn't mean sell a $5 rally. It means you need something significant into resistance, and then you look to sell. It's always better to sit on your hands if you're not sure what to do. And
as we said that, Trump just said oil is beginning to flow from Venezuela. All right, Bubba, we'll see you right back here on Tuesdays. Bubba's here on Tuesdays and Thursdays, guys. So give him a like.
Big man on the street. Take care, brother. Thanks, baby.
All right, my man.